Well, actually what happened is so Gandalf fought the guy for 7 days, the Balrog. He died, and there's only 2 instances of Eru Ilúvatar, who's the god of Lord of the Rings, interfering with the world of Middle-earth or Arda. And the 2 times are, number 1, making Gollum trip to fall into Mount Doom, and number 2 was bringing Gandalf back as Gandalf the White. And so he brought him back. Gandalf the White was brought back literally by God. All right. Okay.
Here we go.
So basically, the Balrog and Gandalf are actually the same thing.
How does that work?
So there's a thing. So like all of the spirits. Okay.
Yep. Here we go.
Did you see Rings of Power?
Nope. Fuck no.
Okay.
Absolutely
all right.
not.
So Jesus Christ. All right. So this is the way it works, right? So in the beginning, Eru Ilúvatar sings a song and he creates, all life and everything like that with something called Flame Imperishable. It's a big thing. And so he has, there's like 2 different tiers of like angels, right? There's the Valar and the Maiar, right? The Valar are like Manwë, Morgoth. Like Manwë is the Valar that Gandalf serves as his Maiar form, Olren. And then obviously Morgoth, or Melkor at the time, descends into evil, like going against Eru Ilúvatar, and he becomes Morgoth. That's the name the elves gave him. And so then basically Morgoth brings a lot of those Maiar spirits to Middle-earth, and those spirits corrupted by the evil turn into Balrogs. Then Eru Ilúvatar and has the different Valars send over their own spirits, kind of like their own lieutenants, to serve in Middle-earth as like kind of agents to help men overcome the evil of Sauron, who Sauron also is a Maiar spirit. Even though he's extremely powerful, he's like maybe maybe 1 tier above Gandalf, maybe barely 1 above Gandalf the White, probably 2 tiers above Gandalf the Gray.
Okay.
Like this is just like arbitrary power scaling.
For sure,
basically, right?
Yeah.
And so then, so Gandalf, whenever he fights the spirit, that's why he says like servant of Morgoth whenever he's fighting the Balrog. So he's like part of the Astari order, right?
Yeah.
And so you have like obviously the 3, the 3 wizards in like the movies. You have, I think it's Anator and Porlando. I think they were given different names by Tolkien later on in the story. Those are the 2 blue wizards who were in Middle-earth actually longer than the other ones were. But basically, they're all actually angels. They are literal angels that predate the existence of the entire world.
Damn.
And so they're not, and like they're bound by a like pact to not use their magical powers in capacities that are unequal, right? That's why, for example, like Gandalf used magic against the Balrog, but he never did that against anybody else. Like he would use magic to like light an area, but like he's not using it. Like Gandalf basically, like to any other being in like Middle-earth, Gandalf could like just kill it. Basically, right? Minus like a handful.
What about those wraiths?
Those wraiths? So Gandalf 1v9'd them.
They're called Nazguls, right?
They're called Nazgul, and they were the original 9 kings that were given the rings by Sauron.
Those things scared the shit out of me.
Remember, we went to see The Lord of the Rings in movie theaters every Christmas. The Hobbit comes out. I told my mom and dad, I'm like, let's go watch it in theaters again for Christmas. And they're like, okay, fine. I look over at my mom in the middle of a battle scene on The Hobbit, and she's like this.
What is in The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, what is the worst part in the whole series?
I think that it was stupid that they had the dwarf have a love interest with the elf, Tamriel, in The Hobbit. I thought that was stupid.
I think, what about you, Emmy? Have you seen all of it?
Yeah, I have.
Well, Rings of Power would be the worst part.
Oh, yeah,
like,
we ignore that.
Yeah, sure.
That just goes without saying.
Well, she just didn't even exist, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like there were a number of things like kind of that were, like I would have wanted to see certain scenes in Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit, but like other than that.
Like what?
Well, so I think that Gandalf actually like basically 1v1s or at least like intimidates the Witch King of Agmar at the gates of breaking into Minas Tirith. And I think that would have been fucking awesome to see that, right? Because like nobody really knew like how powerful Gandalf was or anything like that. And so that would be really cool to see. This is again, deep, deep, deep lore, is that one of the rings that was given to Gandalf by the elves is actually a ring that's supposed to make everybody else around them inspired. And so like basically, and that they even covered that in the books. And so that's kind of like his job. He's trying to like inspire the races of Middle Earth to be able to resist Sauron's influence on their own. Well, it's also like just like a big metaphor, I think, in a lot of cases to, like Christianity, right, and Catholicism.